Welcome to our Injirati studio at the African Utility Week 2013. We have with us Peter Verstergren Akesen from Kamstrup. I really hope that I've pronounced that correctly. You're welcome to correct me. Thank you very much for taking time out from the conference. I do realize that you're very busy. Peter is a solution manager and he's in metering systems. So your subject is metering.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just discussing now that you were very interested to see how utilities are approaching metering and technology, and you're almost hoping that utilities should be more open-minded with regards to how they choose their technology and the processes around it. Would you like to expand?
Yeah, I think actually open-minded is a very good word for it, because we tend to see, at least from Europe,
yes,
where we normally have our business, that utilities sometimes decide the technology before they decide the functionality. So they get very keen on a specific technology, and when they're going for the tendering process, they are asking for a specific technology for reading the meters and for controlling the grid and so on.
Right.
So what we have seen is that they actually, first of all, they take quite a big responsibility doing that. And sometimes they end up cornering themselves, and maybe they can't utilize what they actually want to achieve.
Why are they making the wrong decisions? What are they doing to be making these financially devastating decisions? What are they not looking at? What are they missing? Perhaps the skill to be able to choose between technologies?
Maybe, but I think they actually should step a bit, I don't know if you call it backwards or forward.
Yeah.
I would like to say forward.
Take a step back.
Yeah, or a step up and
yeah,
say, instead of asking for specific details in the technology, they should ask themselves, why do we want data? For what purpose? When do we need them? What kind of quality do we want the data in? For how many years do we want to keep this running? How is it to install? How is it to maintain? How is it to operate? Service level agreements. I mean, they really need to think carefully about installation costs and operation costs.
So when we're talking now about utilities, are we talking more about, since it is the African Utility Week, are we talking about utilities throughout Africa?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, this is not only isolated for this market. I think it's actually very general,
right,
for the different markets. And you can say the advantage of South Africa and what is happening in Africa now is that they can maybe jump ahead to learn from a lot of the things that they have done in the other markets, right, like in north of Europe.
Okay, so you feel that we are in a place now, perhaps investment-wise as well, to now look forward and actually learn from markets that are more developed, as in Europe and the US, perhaps?
Definitely.
All right.
I mean, a lot of these technologies used for reading the meters have been evolving quite fast during the last years. First of all, you just wanted to read a meter. Then you wanted to add more value, because maybe the business case for only reading a meter was not that good. So more and more value was added. Now you want power quality. You want to have smart grid functionality. You want to have multi-utility, read different meters in the same infrastructure.
So realizing your needs before you make a jump and actually
definitely
spend billions on a product that you're not going to be using. That's basically what you are suggesting.
Exactly.
Utilities need to be careful with what they choose.
Yeah.
All right. I was sitting in on a smart metering debate, whether or not Africa, and specifically South Africa, is ready for smart metering. And the one speaker was saying that we just don't have the infrastructure. Our infrastructure is just too basic, and it's aging. It needs to be upgraded before we can accept any of this technology. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I think, of course, they're right to a certain extent. But still, I don't think it's not necessarily an argument for not doing it, because what you are actually achieving is that you help consumers and help industry to save energy, right? So you are benefiting a lot from this, so you can plan your production and distribution better.
Okay.
So I actually think that even though some of the infrastructure maybe is not there yet, you can still start. Use technologies not directly connected to GPS.
Right.
There's a walk-by, drive-by solutions, so you can start something up, try to get some experience, and then you can expand that and build on top of that. So, I mean, you can easily start now with, for these areas that are not that developed, you can easily start with walk-by, drive-by wireless solutions. That would be the obvious choice.
So, for instance, in South Africa, as you know, there's a huge gap between consumption levels and also pockets as well. You know, you've got your incredibly affluent areas that could probably afford, you know, to bring on technology, and they will definitely utilize the energy. And then you'll get somebody who uses very little energy from a cost perspective. They just simply cannot afford a lot of electricity. Are you saying that the technology could be used in less affluent areas? There is definitely a gap in the market in South Africa.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yes.
But I actually think, even though it's in these areas, you can still, I mean, the value that you are billing the consumers correct.
Right.
Is the first point, right? So everybody is sure that they're actually paying for the exact consumption. I think it's quite normal that up to 30% of manual meter readings are incorrect.
Right.
So that's the first thing you would achieve. Yeah, it actually is. But I mean, humans are involved, so anything can happen.
Yes.
So that would actually be the first achievement. And going from that, you build up confidence.
Okay.
So I think it's, for these areas, it would be natural.
All right. So this technology we would be able to distribute this technology throughout the country. It doesn't matter where you live or what your consumption levels are. Everyone could benefit from this.
I believe so.
Great.
And then again, that's where you can choose different technologies. So if you from the beginning have decided for a specific technology and you cannot use that in that area, then you have cornered yourself. So that's why my point is, try to be open-minded and use maybe a mix of technologies to find out where the different technology fits the purpose.
All right. As far as your company is concerned, what was your company hoping to get out of African Utility Week? Have you managed to attain that?
Yeah, I think it's always hard to measure when you are in the middle of it, but we are very positive right now, because we 3-4 years ago we established some contacts in around South Africa through some partners. So they started to sell our meters and they added value, so they could for billing purposes and for monitoring purposes. This year we actually just opened our own office in Pretoria, so now we are also locally represented. So of course now what we want now is to be more visible and try to dig into what is the exact needs for this market. And then of course use this as a base for spreading our activities in Africa.
It's also quite an interesting time as well, with renewable energy, with the IPPs on board now, and renewable energy starting to make a presence finally in South Africa. And you'll need smarter meters to be able to handle that kind of information and that kind of intermittent energy. So it is an exciting time for metering companies.
Definitely. One of the presentations I heard, I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
I learned that about half of the countries in Africa is actually having an energy crisis. It's quite frightening. So of course we need to look at renewables, and doing that we need to improve the grid, and we need to be more in control of the grid and the metering points. So I think it would actually hopefully snowball, because there's really a need for it.
Yes, exactly. I was hearing that if you take more than 20% renewable energy, you cannot do it without a smart meter. I think someone was saying that they want 42% renewable energy by 2020 in South Africa, and apparently that is not doable without the smart meter. You need a smarter meter to be able to bring that on board.
Yeah.
So it looks like we need the technology whether we like it or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then just to end off, as far as, are there any key issues that have really stood out for you at the Utility Week?
I mean, I've been positively surprised.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Good.
A lot of utilities is actually working very ambitious with these ideas. A lot of them actually have plans. They're already piloting different meters, different technologies, trying to make some integrations to their business systems. And I mean, I'm actually quite positive.
Great.
More than I expected.
Great. Well, that's definitely a good thing to hear. Thank you very much for sharing with us.
No problem.
And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
And to our viewers, thank you very much for watching us. There are other videos from the conference and from other conferences on our website, and you can catch us there. Thank you.